Hey, how you doing? Tony Wysinski, official aviator of the podcast, and here he is. He's got the puzzles in one hand. He's got the six-pack in the other. Frankie Ferguson.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm in a gamesmanship mood today.
I am excited to sit at the door this weekend, drink a Miller Lite, hand out a candy here and there. It's going to be great.
It's a big weekend for you. You like giving out the candy to the kids?
I love it. It's an awesome tradition we have here. And I like seeing the costumes. You know, it's a good time. You know, the families, they come up, they say hello, some good friends. And, you know, I like the adults. They walk down the street and have a Miller Lite with them, too, to enjoy themselves as well.
Exactly. They're out there carrying the kids' candy. They got the candy all over the place. They're watching the costumes, getting them ready. It's not a bad move to say trick or treat, and here's a Miller Lite for you, too, Dad.
It's not. Put that in the arsenal. Obviously, make sure everything is kosher on many levels.
Parents only, folks.
Parents only.
Parents only.
But I like that idea. That would be a good tradition.
Well, I'll be coming by the Burgasetti house this weekend, that's for sure.
All
if you're
right.
handing out the great tasting, less filling. That reminds me, there's a celebration, not just Halloween. It's time to celebrate the return of Miller Time moments over football. Miller Lite created the Timeless Collection, the Miller Timeless Collection, a collection of 6 stunning rings set in solid 10-karat gold, featuring a microchip inside each ring. This microchip can detect when all 6 rings are together enjoying Miller Time in football and thus unlocking free Miller Lite. There's only one 6-pack of the ring in existence. Will you be the one to win it for your group, Frankie Burgasetti?
I sure hope so.
No purchase necessary, though. Must be of legal drinking age in the United States. For more information on how to enter and contest requirements, visit MillerTimelessCollection.com. Frank, I seen you stumble through this obstacle course of an ad read before.
Contest. It's a tricker, okay? It's a trick. It's not a treat, okay?
That was good. Are you bobbing for apples?
No. The backwash grosses me out.
Hey. Okay. Go get yourself some great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Hey, how you doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Chicago sports fans. This is Barstool Carl.
And White Sox Dave.
Chief Eddie.
And this is Redline Radio and All Gas No Break Chicago Bulls podcast, brought to you by Miller Lite and Barstool Sports Chicago. It's not just a Bulls podcast. I had to say that, though.
It's okay.
Everybody's saying it's a Bulls town. What about the fucking White Sox? They're looking all right.
They didn't make the Wheel of Fortune board. Like they're just there.
It's just that still pisses me off more than anything. That pisses me off more than Cusack.
I mean, yeah, think about it. There's, like, people who sit there. There's old people that sit there and watch Wheel of Fortune every night that don't even know the White Sox exist.
It's a
because of that
goddamn shame, Ed. It's
Wheel
a
of
goddamn
Fortune is
shame.
way harder than people give it credit for. I can never do that one. I feel like you either have a Wheel of Fortune brain or you don't.
And some people who have that brain, when I worked at Jewel in high school, there was this guy, he worked in the stock shelves unit, grocery, whatever. And this guy, every time in the break room, he was like a fucking magician. He knew everything, dude.
Hey, it's 3:30. Got to go see Gary in the break room do his thing on Jeopardy.
It was crazy, dude, how good he was.
And
you know what's fucked up about that, too? Is Sajak mailing it in to not catch that? He's from Chicago.
I don't think he probably has anything.
He's just walking out there
Yeah.
and just, hey, let me see the
It's a
topic
production
first
team.
hand.
You think he's a Cubs fan?
Probably.
I think
Let's see.
Sajak might have flip-flopped before, too, but I can't confirm that, so don't attack him.
did you hear that from your
Don't
dad or
attack
something?
anybody. I forget who. There was an article, I know, when the Cusack shit was going down, and Sajak was mentioned in, like,
He went to
the
Farragut.
great debate.
So did Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett. That's right. Farragut's on the south side, though.
Should
isn't
they get
it?
to claim Kevin Garnett?
No.
Why?
No,
he only did the
won a
1 year.
He only won a year, right?
You can't claim Kevin Garnett.
He graduated
fuck.
from there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you can say he went here, but you can't claim him the way Simeon owns Derrick Rose is.
Yeah,
the way
well,
Richards owns fucking Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade.
right. I think Farragut can claim him. Chicago can't.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd say that's fair.
I like that. I think that's fair.
All right, so off the top of the show, I think on Tuesday there was some heavy news. There's more stuff has come to light. Chief wanted to take some time to read the report, and I feel like it's only appropriate before we continue with this sports podcast to, right? Have some.
Yeah.
What's that fucking?
I'm sorry.
face
Before
for?
we left, were you making fun of Richards?
I was making fun of the way that, like, you were like, yeah, the way Richards embraces Dwayne Wade. Like, I don't know if anybody from Richards embraces Richards. Like, I know some people, Coach Corhonen, rest in peace, but
One of my good friends went to Richards.
yeah.
Does he proudly
that would've been
wear the
my-
merch?
That would have been my school.
Yeah, he's like a big high school football fan, and like he's in like when we talk about like the playoffs and stuff, he's always in the mix. Like,
Richards had some powerhouse teams.
yeah,
Yeah, the coach for Kent State was a good quarterback there. Sean Lewis played Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had good football. They had good Dwayne Wade too.
Yeah, and he's like, I think he built him a gym or something. He's like done a lot. So
Big ass school.
Huge.
Harold L. Richards High School. On
There you
Central.
go.
Yeah.
And sorry, I know we're shifting to something serious, but I just couldn't hold the laughter behind. You just kind of
The Bulldogs.
smirking at
Yeah, everybody likes Richards.
Sorry, continue.
It's better than Oaklawn.
To me,
Is that the case?
Well, I mean, I think it is. It's better than the Oaklawn Spartans. I think that's a little bit of a.
Are they
a rivalry.
rivals?
Yeah, not really. I mean, maybe it's the east side and the west side of Oaklawn. It's not really that big of a deal at all. But you played a lot of tournaments at Richards growing up. That was a good tool. There's a lot of people in Oaklawn right now that are very happy to hear all this Richards talk. So.
I thought you said no one claims Richards.
Yeah, but like no one really claims it at reps. There's guys sitting around being like, "Holy fuck!" For the first time ever, someone's talking about Richards right now.
I don't think that's the case though.
Well,
Because
I
of
think
Dave
Carl's
Dombrowski
point,
went there.
I think your point is that like a lot of those you just kind of go because that's your district.
Yeah, you just go to. Just like, I went to Richards.
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
And
but
then you are also surrounded by people that are like, "Yo, I'm fucking fourth generation Mount Carmel, my
Yes.
brother." So there's these two polar
Comparatively,
opposite
yeah.
things working, and so it.
I know what you're trying to say, but I'm sure there are a lot of people out there to be proud Richards Bulldogs. Which,
No, I'm not saying.
I don't
Now
think
we're
any
just,
does any public school have like pride. I don't think there's St. Charles
Fucking
North pride.
You ever hang out with Sandberg kids?
No, true.
Sandberg kids love Sandberg.
That's true.
Wheaton Warrenville South loves Wheaton Warrenville South.
I don't really think that's true.
Go Tigers.
I really don't.
Why did
Really?
you have lunch with your guidance counselor yesterday then?
I didn't. I didn't have lunch with my guidance counselor. I want you
Okay,
to
can I have your
disavow.
guidance counselor on the podcast then if I can't have your father?
What about his high school baseball coach?
Nah, you don't want him. Fuck him.
Kitch?
I like Kish.
I like Kish too, but fuck him.
I want the college coach who you hate.
Pat or John Fitzgerald.
Can I get him?
Only if I'm allowed to sit in on it. You can have him. He wouldn't do it though.
No?
He wouldn't. No. He wouldn't do it. He's
too
the most
serious?
miserable human being of all time. Literally the worst person.
Is he
I've
still the
ever met.
coach?
He's the coach at University of Chicago now.
Oh. Not a
Yeah,
great
that's where
recruiting
he
pitch
went.
for UFC right now.
No, like I don't give a shit either.
That's me.
I
You
don't give a
really
shit,
don't give
yeah.
a fuck. Yeah.
If you are listening to this and you're a high school kid looking to get an unbelievable academic experience at the University of Chicago while playing baseball, look elsewhere. Go to fucking Rose Holman or something.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
I'll fucking burn that bitch to the ground, Ed. That's how much I hate that guy.
I know. I know you.
He would
despise
bitch every day. I fucking hate this job. And that he was so smart too. So smart. Just a miserable human being though. A miserable fuck.
him. Do you think many of your teammates would back you up? Or did
Every
people-
last one of them would.
Really? So
every
people-
last one
so
of them would.
He
Yeah.
didn't have any.
No. He got out of there real quick. And the program is in such a dumpster fire because they got in trouble my senior year of high school with a bad hazing incident that everybody got fired right before I got onto campus. And so they had to get a baseball coach like right off the bat. He was like eighth in line from
no.
what I understand.
Wow.
Like he shouldn't have gotten the job, but it was just the timing of when everybody got fired that
Got him the
they
job.
had to scramble. Yeah.
It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough. The Blackhawks are scrambling right now. I don't know if that's a good transition, but I do feel like it's appropriate, Chief, for you to get some. I mean,
All right. So full disclosure, we recorded Redline Radio and specifically this section about the Blackhawks, Joel Quenneville, Stan Bowman, Bradley Aldrich before the Kyle Beach, a.k.a. John Doe, revealed himself and did the interview with Westhead of TSN. So I thought it would be inappropriate to just let that podcast air without getting the full scope and obviously Kyle Beach's take on the situation. And I did have a blog come out last night about all the allegations and things too. And I guess this is tough. This is a tough situation, and it's like you watch Kyle Beach tell that story about what happened to him and the response, and your heart just absolutely just shatters into like 1,000 pieces when he was asked, what would you like to say to the victims that happened in Michigan? the victims, Bradley Aldrich's victims in Michigan. And he said, I want to say I'm sorry for not doing more. Well, I don't know what more Kyle Beach could have done. He went to trusted people in the organization, and it was escalated all the way up to the very top, meaning John McDonough, and that's where it died. And John McDonough, basically deferred, sounds like, to the perpetrator, said, hey, you can either remain employed and undergo an investigation, or you can resign, and we'll just, basically sweep this thing under the rug. And Aldrich chose to sweep it under the rug, and the result of that decision was to let a victim that was a member of your organization, John McDonough always talked about having a first-class organization, a family, this and that, and he let that Kyle Beach and another black ace from that same time period be victims for a decade plus without ever doing the right thing, and then allowed Aldrich to go on being a predator of people allegedly at Miami of Ohio, and then he was convicted of assaulting a minor in Michigan. So it's absolutely disgusting what happened to Kyle Beach, and the response from the Blackhawks back in 2010, specifically John McDonough. It's really difficult to hear and to read, and it's difficult for me personally to reconcile the people that I have cheered for 10 years plus, being involved, whether it be a comment, a homophobic slur, making somebody feel uncomfortable, making someone feel like they're, seemingly, according to Kyle Beach, he felt less than human, and it just absolutely breaks your heart, and you don't want to hear that. And then you have to reconcile that with, I've had the opportunity to meet some of these people, and you just don't want to think the worst of these people. And when I say these people, I mean everybody involved. I've met, everybody knows I had the big sit-down interview with Stan Bowman. Obviously, I had the golf outing with Joel Quenneville, spent time with him and his family in Connecticut. And it's difficult to, really say exactly what happened. And I think this thing is much more nuanced, unfortunately, than it's really getting credit for on the internet. And and people want to say that Joel Quenneville didn't do enough, and he knew everything that happened, and that he was lying when he had the statement back on July 13th saying these allegations in this lawsuit are clearly serious. I first learned of these allegations through the media earlier this summer. And then, you pull the quote from page 47 where it said he was in a meeting where it was described to him, and people are saying, well, see, he lied. He knew, he lied. And, that's not the person that I think I know, that I met in the summer and I've been following for 10 years. He seems like he's always been a very straightforward and honest person, so it's a difficult thing to reconcile. But I don't know. It's, Stan Bowman, everybody's pulling that quote where it says, Bowman recalled that after learning of the incident, Quenneville shook his head and said that it was hard for the team to get where they were, and they could not deal with this issue right now. And that reads so cold. It reads so cold, and I completely understand where people are coming from, where they're like, this is this guy, get this guy out of here. But the statement before that from Stan Bowman says that Bowman told us that, as described to him, the situation did not strike him as immediately alarming at the time of the allegation and did not involve a sexual assault having occurred. So if Bowman is saying that they didn't think it was that serious, and you go back, if you read through the report, it says, hey, like, this guy, Bradley Aldrich, was sending, dick pics around and saying he didn't mean to send it to him. And it's impossible to know, because I wasn't in the room, exactly what was said. But if Bowman is out there saying, and he doubled down on that statement when he said he's stepping aside, he said that 11 years ago, while serving in my first year as general manager, I was made aware of potential inappropriate behavior by then video coach involving a player. I promptly reported the matter to the then president and CEO, who committed to handling the matter. I learned this year that the inappropriate behavior involved a serious allegation of sexual assault. I relied on the direction of my superior that he would take appropriate action. Looking back, now I did not handle the matter promptly, and I regret assuming he would do so. And I think, I first read that statement from Bowman, and I didn't like it because I thought it lacked accountability. But now it seems like there are morsels and quotes, pulled from the report that look very ugly in hindsight, and they are ugly, and the incident is ugly, and it's a tragedy. But it sounds like it's hard for me to be like, I know exactly what happened based on this report when I wasn't there. It sounds like there's some degree of people weren't explicit enough in naming exactly what happened. It sounds like the only people who probably knew for sure what happened were this confidant named employee A. Sounds like she may have known what happened. John McDonough and Doc Gary. And Doc Gary tried to make it seem like, according to Kyle Beach, that it was Kyle Beach's fault, according to Doc Gary. And that just makes you want to puke. And it's a disgusting thing to blame a victim who was a young kid at this time, who's trying to, chase down his dreams, and he's having this is like an act of power of Aldridge, who had confided in those two victims with the Blackhawks that he was a homosexual, and wanted to clearly he was trying to explore that with them, even though they were unwilling. And the story and threatening Beach, threatening to ruin his career, threatening to hurt him physically with that the mini bat the wooden bat from the Cubs game. It's disgusting, and you can understand how Kyle Beach would be impacted with that for not only the rest of his time in Chicago, but the rest of his time really for his whole life. And he said that the healing process probably starts right now for him 11 years later. So he's been living with this, just stewing in his heart and his head for 11 years, and it's devastating. It's devastating to learn things like that. So, your heart goes out to Kyle Beach, but it's at some point, the more you read the report, it's like we knew something happened, but nobody was really talking about it. But we knew something happened, and people, maybe they thought it was dick pics. Maybe they thought it was something, they said that Bowman in this statement on page 47 says he recalled an incident where he jumped into bed with somebody, but didn't get into the explicit details that Beach outlined earlier in the report. So it's unclear who knew what and when, at least to me. And, I'm on both ends of the spectrum of this. Like, clearly, like, I have an affection for the Quenneville family, and less so for Bowman. But when you read this, it's it's hard for me to just say without a shadow of a doubt that everybody knew exactly what happened, because the report does not read that way. And that's why I was stressing to people to read the report. If they went, this seems like it was a very detailed report, and you would hope that if people knew exactly what happened to Kyle Beach back in 2010, that they would have acted properly. And I guess that's kind of where I leave it, where it's like clearly people didn't act properly, but it's unclear to me that Stan and Joel knew exactly what was being discussed. And it could have been like, I could see a situation where it's like, well, we have an employee with an unwanted sexual advance via text messages, and just saying like, well, hey, like that's a lot different than a sexual assault. That's really an HR issue, and he should be fired. That's not the same thing as what was described earlier in the report, which is criminal and absolutely abhorrent predator type of behavior. And so that is the part where I really have a hard time reconciling like exactly what happened. And I can't sit here and play judge and jury and executioner on the internet, because I wasn't there. And I'm not going to, say that I know exactly what happened. I don't know exactly what was said and who knew what and when. So that's kind of my position on it. I hope that there is a further investigation. maybe the NHL should conduct their own. Maybe they should have done it a long time ago. It sounds like Kyle Beach went to the Players Association back then, and they did nothing as well. So it seems like so many different people dropped the ball on this, and I'm not in a position where I feel comfortable crucifying particular people named, other than it sounds like this guy, Doc Gary, monster. You're supposed to be a mental skills coach and a confidant to these young players and helping them along. So the fact that, Al McKaiser goes to you, find out what happened, and you tell Kyle Beach it's his fault, that's disgusting. And then it sounds like maybe John McDonough also knew. And then, or even if John McDonough didn't know the full extent, he didn't report it to HR in a timely manner. Clearly, he has the statement that, from Bowman saying that, we don't know when the next time we're going to get this far in the playoffs, so let's deal with it afterwards. That is egregious. It should have been turned over to HR immediately to conduct an internal investigation immediately if you did not go directly to the police. And they failed to do. They failed Kyle Beach, and they failed the organization and the culture that they, supposedly stood for. And it's very difficult to watch and cheer for this team right now, knowing exactly what happened. But it was 11 years ago, and I think, and I hope it sounds like, maybe with the leadership from Kyle Beach on this issue, that this can turn into something positive. And Danny Wirtz now being in charge, having relieved John McDonough last year, can set the proper guidelines and proper forms of behavior for the organization. And maybe this is something that transcends junior hockey, where there's been issues like this, and across the league, that this never happens again. And I guess that's kind of where I feel like I want to leave it. And we'll get back into the rest of the show now.
No, yeah, we're definitely coming out of this conversation, and like I said before, it is a headache. And when it comes to headaches, I know there's a big headache that gets to our audience a lot, and that's when it comes to refilling your ADHD medication, which is why I want to tell you about my good friends at innovativeadd.com. If you're a resident of Illinois, I got news for you. There's a fucking clinic that takes insurance. It's not some online faulty thing. This is a real clinic, innovativeadd.com. It's a real medical clinic. So they're based here in Chicago, medical providers you can trust. You can use them for your ADHD management. That's a big pain in the ass if you have to go pick up your script, drop it off at the pharmacy. A lot of moving parts to managing your ADHD medication. That's why innovativeadd.com is here to help you out. They remove the frustration. It's easy to get appointments and refills. All you have to do, if you're a resident of Illinois, they take insurance, just go to innovativeadd.com for all your innovative or for all your ADHD medication needs. It's good stuff. That's something that can make your life significantly easier if that's something that, you got to manage and take care of. And when it comes to making your life harder, I don't think this news could hit the Bears any worse. Khalil Mack's supposed to be out a couple weeks now, broken foot.
Not good.
Not good at all.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. Listen, there's no point in sitting here and telling you what that means, because he's our best fucking defensive player. So when you lose your best defensive player, it's generally not good.
Mm-hmm. It's not good, Ed.
So we'll see. Robert Quinn.
Kyle Shanahan will be dialing some stuff up, little play action, roll out reads.
Yeah, it's just not good. It's not good.
Can we just do quick scale 1 to 10 how fucked we are?
Well, what do you think is the bigger loss, Khalil Mack or Nagy?
Oh. It's a tough one.
Real toss up.
Because now the players know they don't have an excuse, though. If I'm playing for Matt Nagy, I'm like, this guy's a fucking clown. Who cares? We lost. This fucking jabroni. But now if Matt Nagy's not on the sidelines and I'm out there, all the guys, if you're in the locker room, you're like talking shit about Matt Nagy and like, yo, this guy fucking sucks. It's like, yo, now's your time.
Yep.
Then go fucking show people that you guys play harder and you play better if you really don't like this guy. If he has alienated the locker room, I think they play better. Are you taking the Bears plus 3.5 now?
No, I'm not. I don't think Hicks is going to play either. It could get ugly. Yeah, but the Niners aren't great, but
when you say ugly, it could be like 23, like 22-3, you mean, or like one of those ugly games?
If you like, think of it like that. You're cutting off your best leg of your
Yeah.
of your team. That's generally not good. So, yeah.
Are you annoyed that Matt Nagy has COVID at all? Is there any part of this where it's just like, of course you have COVID?
No, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Is he out for the week officially?
I don't think so, particularly because he's vaccinated, and I think there's different rules.
Yeah, there is.
vaccinated
So he's
player.
got to get 2 negative tests 24 hours apart.
Yeah. So I don't think so. I would assume.
Yeah, so he'll be back.
Yeah, like just.
And even if he's not, his coaching staff's still there. So
Who was
what is
the
he-
coach?
Well, who's
Who-
going to throw the challenge flag?
Who's the
then?
coach who put the bed in the
Who's
That
going
was,
to tell Justin
upstairs.
Fields
Liberty
there's
coach,
13,
Hugh Freeze.
14
Hugh Freeze,
guys
yeah.
on the field
Would he
when
have
there's only
surgery
8?
and he
Yeah.
had him put a hospital bed in the
Overlooking the stadium?
so he
Yeah,
could
yeah,
call
yeah.
plays
Yeah.
and shit?
Yeah.
That is kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah, but they should tell
That's a
Nagy.
football
They're
guy.
like, "Hey, Nagy, if you just stay in your basement, you can call a game from your base."
Yeah, and just
Like
turn
you
off
said,
his
like,
fucking-
Yeah,
give
turn
him
off his
the-
Wi-Fi.
Give him the fake, the like little white van in behind the stadium, where he's calling plays to like just like in Half Baked when they're undercover.
They
Yeah.
should tell him that he won.
Wouldn't that be something though? Like if they did win, or either way, and he. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
Well, if they win without him, he's going to be like, "They responded to adversity without me in the building." I'm proud of the way
he'll be
these
a martyr.
guys.
I was looking for the whys, and you know, just keep looking for the whys.
People
Thanks.
fucking hate his guts. Like, purely from our standpoint of like, you send out a tweet, you get feedback. You say something, you get feedback.
That guy stinks.
Right now, one of the hottest things we've ever been able to say in our capacity is like Barstool bloggers and stuff is like, you want to get some easy likes, just talk shit about Matt Nagy. Like people are fucking coming out of the woodwork to just bury this guy.
Let's do some market research now. I'm just gonna tweet, "Yo, Matt Nagy stinks," and see how many I get.
I like that. We'll do 5. Like this tweet if you think Matt Nagy stinks, Dave. Say that.
Is that too?
No, it's fine. Bears, Niners, look ahead. The total is that, get anybody 39.5. That's pretty ugly. Is that
Pretty
going to
low.
go down? Go
I
up without
I
Matt?
feel like that number, it's 30, which is like a very low line. I think it's safe. I think I like the under in this game.
I do too. This kind of feels like one of those old like Ravens Browns games from 2011 in like December in the snow and stuff when the total would be like 33.5 points. Like this is what I feel like and weather should be good football weather here. 45 sunny.
It's a weird game though. It's like two teams like in just a misguided
Yeah.
lull, just drifting into the
Young
desert.
quarterback.
Who's responsible for not being good for the Niners then? I think they're 2 and
There
5.
there have been rumors that Shanahan might be out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
You fucking took him to a Super Bowl's first
Yeah,
year.
and like
Fall from
everyone
grace.
like loved him and like some.
Yeah.
But granted, I mean, 2018 Nagy was like the hot guy too.
Yeah.
True.
So
Yeah.
things can change fast.
Yeah.
So
This league, man.
Yeah. That is. And then the other thing about that, I went to bring this up before with Nagy. He just I think to your point, he's the worst press conference coach of all time. Like
He
the
is.
worst. If
There's a microphone by him, he's just like,
He goes to it like a fly goes to the blue light,
yeah.
the purple light,
Yeah.
and goes zzz before he dies.
We've become really close in the last 24 to 48 hours.
is that the worst quote you've seen after a
like-
5 touchdown loss? Can I
Has
read?
to
I'll
be.
read it. You bring it up, Chief.
Um,
I will say the last couple days with our team. This is Matt Nagy after they lost by 35 to the Bucks. I will say the last couple days with our team, we've become really close. For us to become as close as we have the last 24 to 48 hours, I just trust and believe in them.
What do you think like Khalil Mack thought when he heard that quote?
He probably
Did he? I bet you he just laughed his ass off. Like,
don't-
what the fuck is this
Khalil
guy
Mack is
talking
though.
about?
I don't know. Mack's not a good representation. He's so good that he probably just sits in the locker room and just like, well,
He doesn't
I'm
even
as good
practice
as I
anymore,
am. Like
does
I
he?
wish these guys were as good as me. Like if everybody was as good as me, we'd be way better. Like that's how much better he is than everybody, right?
I think the worst quote came from Jason Peters.
Poor fucking guy about how Simmons didn't even fucking practice.
Has never played right tackle before. Head on out there.
Not even in a practice.
Not one snap.
yeah, him and who else spoke? Someone else spoke. Robinson, I believe it was. They you got more out of those pressers than you did from Nagy.
Yeah.
You got a way clearer look at what's going on in that locker room, and it can't be good. It just can't be good.
It's incompetent. Well, and it was like the Nagy quotes us just like, this guy's like an idiot. And you're just like pissed off at the things that he's not saying anything,
But he's saying.
but he's saying the wrong things. But he's not giving any specifics about why, why it's all platitudes, but even his platitudes are like, fucking Christ. And then you get quotes from the players about the true like examples of incompetence, and you're like, what the fuck is going on there? And they just, completely unprepared again. It's like no surprise that they lost 38-3. It was just they're just an embarrassment. They're an embarrassment.
I do feel bad for Jason Peters, too. I just want to say that. I see him out there, big as fuck, old as fuck, been out here all pro, one of the most respected offensive linemen of our generation. And, like, he's got to be out there putting up with this stuff, getting questions about Matt Nagy's leadership. Like, come on, man. I feel bad for that guy. Yeah. I will say out of that preview, which is obviously that's about the most depressing bear. Like when I looked at the calendar and I was like, oh, dude, Niners, home, Halloween, it's going to be rocking, costumes in the parking lot. No, I mean, it's pretty mild. And in the flip side, though, tonight we have Tibbs coming back to Chicago to play the Bulls and stuff. And just the way these two things are working right now, I'm totally caught off.
Yeah, it's a lot different. This is going to be like you thought, like you were seeing red before this game. This game's going to be electric.
I can't wait for it.
I really think so because Knicks fans are fired up. And I was driving to work today, and I thought about, like, if we somehow played the Knicks in a playoff series, what a great stream.
Oh, yeah.
What a great stream.
Would that be,
need it.
Okay, so our Knicks guys are Clem, Reeks.
Reeks is a Knicks guy.
KFC.
KFC, yes. That motherfucker Joey Langone.
Oh, yeah.
He's a huge Knicks fan.
Giant. Yeah. Where's Rico on that?
Social media.
I think Rico's a Knicks guy. New York Tom. Tom's a
huge Knicks guy.
Shut the fuck up. You don't like the Knicks. Guy's over here watching the Rangers on his phone.
I used to have season tickets in the 90s.
See, that's a thing, too, though. I think a lot of Knicks fans don't really know they're Knicks fans yet.
They've been dead
that's
for
a good.
so
wow,
long.
that's so deep.
Yeah, because they haven't had the opportunity to be a Knicks fan.
Well, they got a big opportunity.
They weren't
tonight.
even worth watching for the majority of my life. So, it's not even like a.
I do.
Like we were always Knicks fans, but it's like, how much of a fan can you be of a team that's not even worth watching?
Yeah.
I do think there's probably a lot of people like Tom who are now claiming that they had season tickets in the 90s.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Not at all.
I think there's a lot of people.
He was offended by that.
Oh, yeah, I love John Starks, but,
that's
it
not
got driven away.
Latrell Sprewell.
From our perspective, from like a Blackhawks perspective, that was a big thing when the Blackhawks got good.
No, it's all love with the Knicks. Everyone loves the Knicks.
Yeah, I was going
New York
there
City's
when
rallying around them. Yeah.
Because you dropped the John Starks, that's like Daze and a Monty. So, I mean, I'm sorry, Tom, but you're going to have to give me something better than that.
I didn't drop John Starks.
I thought you did.
Chief did.
I said John Starks.
I said Latrell Sprewell. He was my boy.
Yeah. Allen Houston.
Those Knicks Heat series were awesome back in the day.
No, I'm giving you
Starberry.
shit.
Yeah.
I'm giving you shit, but honestly, I'm very excited. Because New York's good, and they are, like, this is really where it's at with the Bulls,
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not the Bucks. You know what I mean? The Bulls are...
No, but the way they're playing right now, it's the type of team where you can see them being like they're great. They could be so good in May. The way they play, they could be so good later in the season. The way they come together and stuff.
And like people were like, "Oh, what the fuck? The Bulls didn't play anyone these first 4 weeks. Like, why these first 4 games? Why are people sucking their dick?" I get it, but you can only play who's on your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like you really see where you fit in.
Yeah.
And the Knicks is the first real test, and it's on Thursday night. I hate how they say national TV because it's NBA TV. Like, give me fucking Barkley and the boys and
TNT. That's a huge
or give me
game.
nothing.
Yeah.
So fuck you if you're gonna say national television. Knicks fans and Bulls fans should be pissed that we're not on it.
And when I was I'm a little bit older than you guys. When I was a little kid, Bulls Knicks was the NBA. Like, I think they had multiple playoff series.
You had that Sunday afternoon on NBC.
Yeah. And like the Pacers would get mixed in a little bit, but it was like Bulls and Knicks was like you had to watch it. Like, you had to watch. And so I'm kind of glad that both teams are back. And they're kind of back in similar ways. Like, both teams tried to do the we're going to go out, we're going to get, the big free agents, we're going to do this, we're going to tank, and then it kind of just almost came together by accident. Like, the Knicks don't have any super
Well, it's like the Knicks. Yeah, they're very similar, right? Because the Knicks, the 2 key free agents they got was Fournier and
Julius
Kemba
Randle.
Walker.
Well,
Randle before. I'm saying this past offseason.
yeah.
And we got DeRozan and Lonzo, 2 guys that are fucking really talented on both sides. Two established, two good players, and it's they're hungry.
Yeah.
Like both sides really want to fucking win.
Right.
And I don't know. This
Levine
could
and
be
Randall
good.
aren't too different either in the perspective of like potential,
High
early,
draft pick,
high draft pick, good potential, and really map out first spot, new spot, kind of more leadership and stuff. Also, good coaches, Billy Donovan and Tibbs.
Yep.
This
Well
will be
respected for sure.
They got a much better bench.
Yeah, our bench isn't great, but I think
It's not done being built either.
Our top 8 is fucking great. I do like Elise Johnson. I like Elise Johnson. He's a little scrappy guy.
I've been pronouncing it Alize. Is it Elise?
I don't know. Is it?
I really don't know.
I would guess it's Elise. Who knows?
But that's the point.
Elise?
We're not the Nets. We're not the Bucks. Neither team are. But it just
You love
Giannis turns an
Love
ankle.
doing
If he
that,
turns
man.
an ankle.
Just let me fucking enjoy the game if they win it. You know what I woke up thinking about today, Ed? I thought about how the 2016 Cubs, we thought that they would be good. We knew that they'd be improved from the year before. And then you just fucking woke up one day and they were like 26-6. And you were like, holy fuck, that's a start to the year.
No, but
and so
that's-
when I was washing my face this morning and getting ready to come in here and talk about this stuff, I thought, man, the Bulls are kind of giving what if it's like 3 weeks from now and the Bulls are like fucking 12-1 and it's just like, dude, they're a
can't
runaway.
do
But
it, yeah.
I have to do that to
No, you
myself.
can't.
Why
You
can't I do that?
Because
Talk me out of it.
Because the NBA is all about the playoffs. Like that's when guys actually play. It's a totally different.
But
league.
this is different because it's the first year with good players and the Bulls under good I'm saying with these guys playing together, like the team they are now will not be the team they are in March, which will not be the team they are in May. This is not who we're looking at now. Like it's a story. This is a narrative of this team coming together throughout the 20. It won't be the same story next year. Like this is the most fun part of it is seeing these guys come together and play together and build their roles and relationships.
I'd agree with that wholeheartedly.
So I'm not willing to say we're not the Nets or the Bucks. I know right now we're not. But, like, I'm at least optimistic throughout this season. Can they get coached into it? Can they get a rhythm? Can they get
I guess that's just my point is, like, with the Knicks, like, you're the team. Are you going to be in the playing game? Are you going to be the 3 seed possibly? That's just where I'm getting at.
I think 3 seeds on the high end for me. I'd like to see him get a 3 seed. Okay?
Yeah,
I
sure.
think that's right where they are.
So why can't
We'll see.
That 3 to 5 range. I think.
Sixers are going through it. That's
Yeah.
a weird
But
situation.
It turns quickly.
Celtics, who knows? There's a lot of moving pieces, and that's why, like, I don't know. I've been big on the measuring stick this year. I feel like that's my word. That's why I'm excited to see this game tonight.
I just don't want. I want you to let go a little bit, Ed. I want you to
Believe
have
in
some fun this year
something.
with the Bulls team. I won't
No,
push you in any other team or direction, but just like try and have some fun this year with the Bulls. Be vulnerable.
I just said I'm mad that they're not on TNT. It's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
It's bullshit. It's two starved fan bases. It's two fan bases who were just in a fucking shitty marriage and are single for the first time in a long time, and they're ready to fucking get after it.
You could say they're thirsty.
Yes,
That it needs to be
1000%.
quenched.
And they're what, Dave?
Horny.
Horny.
They're horned up,
Horny.
as our guy Biz would
Very
say.
horned up.
Did you guys see that clip?
Yes, I did.
That was
Yeah.
Hey, Wayno, you ever get a little horned up over there, bud?
a little horned up on the
Yeah.
forecheck.
Yeah, I like that.
He's been awesome at that.
Congratulations to Biz as he continues his media career. He looks good. He looks hydrated. He looks revitalized. David, when it comes to a big night out, you want to feel good the next day. Maybe it's maybe you got some hydration issues.
Halloween weekend.
What's your preferred
That
product,
is true.
Dave?
It's none other than Revitalight. That's Revitaly, as in yellow TE. Go
say
and pick up
RI?
your Revitalight Black Label today in store, online at the Barstool store, and tweet us or tag Drink Revitalight at Drink Revitalight in your morning after stories. And I've had a million bad hangovers in my life. I just can't do them anymore. So what I do is I take Revitalight half bottle before I go out, half bottle in the morning.
Yeah. I would
Oh,
not
Davey
say
half and half. That's
Yeah.
what we say.
Davey
That's what
half
we
and
call
half,
Dave
yeah.
when he walks in. Here comes Davey half and half.
that is the method. I would.
What?
I know what you're getting at. I know what's wrong.
What? You
Well,
like
anyways,
Revitalight?
the guys at Revitalight are taking things to the next level and teamed up with Barstool Sports to create the ultimate way to save yourself a rough morning after a night of drinking. And it's made specifically with stoolies in mind for maximum recovery and the perfect complement for when your life gets a little rough and rowdy. Don't pay for Saturday nights on Sunday morning. Revitalight Black Label pairs perfectly with nightcaps and midnight snacks. Your nightstand will feel naked without it, Ed. So stock up on Revitalight.
Got to do it.
Yep.
Got to do it.
I might just go all in on that social call out, tagging pictures of it and stuff. Next thing you know, it's like, yo, rate this bottle of Revitalight. Revitalight, it's good. It actually is. It's
delicious.
It's something we proudly stand behind, and I challenge you guys to try it and tell me it doesn't work.
Ed's got like a
effectively.
half bottle down since we started this
And
show.
I'd
today.
like to do a half and half. You showed me that, and ever since I started, you show me that. Because, some people might react different to everything. So I'll pour half out, fill half up with water, and it's good to go.
I love that. Yeah.
It's good to go.
Yeah, not everybody needs full chub. Do we we have a couple things left in the show. This is at the point we need to tell the audience. We will be talking Squid Game in a little bit, I think, for a brief period of time. There probably will be some spoilers come up or something. We're not going to be doing like episode recaps, but the end of the show does involve Squid Game stuff. If you are watching Squid Game now, you're in the process, you want to watch it, we'll be very clear when we get in the Squid Game conversation. All right, there's three personal things I want to talk about, but I would like to get through these. We don't need to explore these three things too in depth, but I suppose it'll grab bag here. We'll start with this. Brother Ice plays Wheaton Warrenville South this Saturday night. IHSA playoffs. 7-8
round.
This is important because Dave and I, this is our high school. It's obviously me, Brother Ice, Dave, Wheaton, Warrenville South. Original segment on this podcast is, did you play high school football against White Sox, Dave?
It's true.
It is who we are. Like in the fabric of who we are, we love high school sports. We love talking about high school sports. We love talking shit to each other. Dave being a public school kid, me being a Catholic leaguer. And it's almost as if the IHSA set this up for us. Do you feel any part of conspiracy that the IHSA wanted this to get publicity for it?
Maybe. I might have to give that halftime speech that I was invited to give. I ended up being in New York City for it, so I couldn't do it. But I was offered by Wheaton Warrenville South High School. It was a pregame speech, not a halftime speech. But I got a bone to pick with them, with Wheaton Warrenville South. So I know their athletic director. I would consider him a family-ish friend. Not like we're going to barbecues and shit with ever, but I could hit him up right now and have a great conversation. He would take the administrator hat off and all that. He's a normal guy.
Prove it.
But a handful of years ago, the Wheaton Warrenville South, they left the DVC, which was, I would say, them and the Catholic League were the two premier football athletic program or conferences in the state of Illinois.
Easily.
And that didn't sit well with me. So my high school was always the smallest high school in the conferences, with the Napervilles that were nearing 4,000 students. My high school was more around 2,500. It was the smallest school in the conference, but we dominated in most sports. And once the going got tough a little bit in football, when they started, kind of sneaking in and not really being that dominant football program, they just upped and left. And that really pissed me off. It was only a handful of years that they had a couple down years where they were 500 and they're just fuck this. And a lot of it had to do with the concussions. So they didn't have the same numbers coming out for football. A lot of them went and played lacrosse, which I think is probably just as bad for concussions. I don't know anything about lacrosse.
Definitely not.
Anyways.
Definitely not.
What?
It's not necessarily a safe sport. It's a collision sport.
It's closer to basketball than
Okay,
football.
well,
But
correct.
Ahead.
Anyways.
Go ahead.
And this was a proud football program. Wheaton, Illinois, Warrenville, Illinois, Friday nights, that's what you did. It didn't matter if you had a kid in the program or not. You stopped everything. You went to those games. And, you'd have 8,000, 9,000 people there cheering on Wheaton, Warrenville South, and it was an expectation that you were winning state every single year.
So are
Now-
you just setting yourself up because you guys are 5-4 this year? I'm trying to follow.
No, it pisses me off that they're 5-4 because I did like to follow along even years after I graduated from there. That oh look, they're making another run at state. Who's the D1 players this year? Who's the stud? It's just not that anymore, and it's sad that it's become to that. Because I would love this to be like a semifinal game where both teams are awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and they're
Brother
in
Rice is
different
the 9
spots, yeah.
seed. Wheaton Warrenville South is the 24.
Yeah, they're the 9. Well, the seeding too is weird because it's not like the CFP. I mean, they have, Brother Rice has 2 losses, 1 to Loyola, 1 to Joliet Catholic. I think by a combined 6 points total or something like that. And what we'll see how this shakes out. But
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting that the IHSA slotted us together in the first round. I'd love to be there. My cousin is getting married. I will not be in attendance on Saturday
Is that
night.
at Brother Rice?
It's at Brother Rice, yes.
Okay.
Which is, and hopefully, I don't know. Brother Rice has created like a big game atmosphere. They run the spread. They brought up a guy from Texas to take over the program, and my understanding is this is like a big investment to run the football program. So he's coaching this year alongside Brother Rice's longstanding head coaches, co-head coaches, to take over the program, which I think is unique. And that's, for me as an alum, it's cool. You guys know I like talking about the shit in the school. We'll see how this goes. I went back and watched the Brother Rice Marist game on Friday night. Atmosphere is electric. The bands, the student sections, like
I've missed that
there's
stuff.
there's a reason I like all this stuff.
I
that
love
we
high
go
school
around.
football.
It's awesome.
That was the thing that was like, my dad would take me when I was like 8.
Yes.
like,
That's how I became
yeah.
a Northwestern fan. Because Wheaton Memorial South had a wide receiver. And I actually talked to my high school coach who's been in content recently about this. The 98 Wheaton South team had 2 Super Bowl champions on the team on different teams.
It's pretty impressive.
So that's pretty impressive.
Yep.
The entire division, or the entire offensive line went Division 1. 2 NFL guys, both won Super Bowls. The quarterback was John Butcher, who went to Iowa, later transferred to Illinois. And they had this little white wide receiver. I looked up his stats the other day. 2,300 receiving yards and almost 38 touchdowns in 1998. Went to Northwestern. My dad started taking me to those games. So, yes, when I was 10 years old, I was like I said, you were going to these games. So Wheaton Warrenville South High School has been around since 92. They won state 92, 95, 96, 98, 2006, which was my senior year, 2009, 2010. Second place, 1990, 91, 2007, 2011. So this is like an expectation, like I said, and now they're just not that. And
Does it bother you that you didn't get a ring?
a little bit.
That sucks.
Babies and memories. I don't think
Miller
you're-
Lite Timeless Collection.
Yeah. Dave, I'd like to present you with this.
You don't think? What
Championship
you
Thank
ring.
you.
What's
I
that?
don't
What were
care.
you gonna say?
I mean, he's saying that they're in a weak conference now. They're not in a weak conference.
It's not like it used to be.
They've had some tough losses.
I mean,
they played some good teams.
Batavia-
Batavia's good. Batavia's
Yeah.
shooting out Division 1 kids every year.
Yeah.
They have a
Geneva's
linebacker
been
that's
good. St. Charles went to the St. Charles
Semis.
North. They went to the semis a couple years ago. Wheaton North. It's not a bad league.
I watched.
It's not what it used to be.
I think you'd say that about football in Illinois as a whole.
So I still
think
still
it's
have an
better.
Edgy
I
Tim
mean-
account.
You do?
I still have an Edgy Tim account. I was of the impression, now I don't keep up like I used to on Illinois high school football, but with the playoffs starting, I looked it up. East St. Louis just played IMG this past weekend. They played them in Mississippi. East St. Louis they lost, it was 48-6, I want to say. They absolutely dismantled. East St. Louis has a 5-star going to Mizzou, a receiver. They have a DB, cornerback going to Clemson. Illinois, they got a kid. They're they're loaded, and got absolutely fucking massacred by IMG. Goes to show you. But
Okay. Like where the state is at, you're saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's down big time from 10 years ago, and a lot of it, like I said, has to do with like the CTE and shit.
I watched
far
the
as that-
fucking.
And then the population is
I watched the fucking show live. I was fucking locked in. I went to the game Friday too, and when I saw that, I like gasped. I was like, "Oh my god!"
I got the tweet.
How
I was
can
at a
that
bar.
happen?
I was like, oh,
I love that you sent that tweet out. I love that you watched the show live. The seeding's a big deal, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was excited for Pats. They made it, so I was
5 and 4. You guys play a team West.
Sterling, I believe it is.
Sterling.
It's
Sterling's
What
usually
class?
pretty good.
It's in,
what class is
fi-
St. Pat's?
5 now.
5A.
It was 8 when we were there, but like you said, everything's down. But it's when I saw that, I was like, "Oh my god!" And it does suck for Dave a little bit that they're not the same Wheaton Warrenville South, and Brother Rice is at the height of their powers. I would say, is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's maybe not the best team, but they've got the best players that they've had, like the best stars.
Yeah.
for
Have
sure.
they won state recently?
They went to state and
They-
lost to Loyola in 2019,
Yeah.
like the 18-19 season, and then last year I think they lost in the semis.
Okay.
They lost in the semis to go down state.
But regardless, I'm excited to see it. It should be a good state playoffs. I watched Loyola Mount Carmel last week. It was a great game.
Yeah.
Came down to the wire.
Jordan Lynch coaching,
That-
all
yeah.
those fucking
Yeah.
names from Loyola.
That's-
It is I like getting ripped on for this stuff. This is part of who I am. I like high school sports. I like Brother Ice. This is part, like, it's fun for me. You guys talk about as a kid's going with your dad. Like, I still go to games with my dad now. This is something that connects me and, like, my buddies and all this shit from home. So,
It's also a very underrated part of Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh, yeah.
The
That was my favorite thing ever, driving
Friday,
down
Saturdays.
Yeah.
there to Champaign. And, yeah, now it's at fucking Northern, right? It's just not – it doesn't have the same gusto as it used to.
Well, they're working on it. I'm sure there's some appeal to Northern from a cost. Who knows what it is? But, okay, so stay tuned for more stuff on our growing high school football coverage here at Barstool, Chicago. There's 2 things left here. I said I'd get to it, Illinois, Penn State. I won't get to it. I'll get to it next week or something, or we'll be on that. That's a developing situation. They ran for 367 yards in Happy Valley. The most yards ever given up at a Big Ten game. The excitement's there. I will say, funny situation happened. I was watching the game at home, and I was set up to go film a DeBar's episode, which should be out Thursday or Friday this week. And we were going to do it in Lottie's, and Lottie's is a Wisconsin bar, so we go and the audio's on. And I just, like, I'm done with the Penn State-Illinois game. Like, I went out to go film the video and all this stuff. And I'm playing Golden Tee. Ed, you got a DM?
Yeah, I got a DM from someone.
I
They're
got
like,
the
hey,
same DM.
Just
We
so
all
you
got
know,
it.
Carl was playing Golden Tee in like the 5th overtime until I told him, hey, Penn State and Illinois are in overtime. And then he went to watch the game.
And then we went over with the
He
cameras.
read
I was like, what are you talking about? Illinois? I thought the guy was fucking with me for sure because we've been in going around filming all this stuff. And so there's only one TV at Lottie showing the game. And I had, like, no idea what was going on.
I love Lottie's.
I was so fucking
Unrelated.
pissed at myself. Right at the start of overtime, I'm like, all right, it's going to be over. I didn't care who won. So I just picked up. I got the dog. I took him to the dog park, and I was refreshing on my phone at the dog park. I'm like, I just missed, and I specifically said this, the worst/best game of the year.
What do we think about the college football overtime rule now that we've seen one go?
They shouldn't make him switch the fields. They make him keep running.
Why
to
did they
switch the
do-
fields? They should just have, like, the defense stand over there. Like, they
That's-
should bring
that's a
all
good
the
point,
players
yeah.
down and, like, here's your pool. Or they should only let you use, like, 18 players. So you got to have some, like, offensive linemen that can play D tackle or, like,
Just turn in 7-on-7.
That'd be
It's-
interesting.
Schoolyard
Is
ball.
it? Did they say that's the longest game?
Oh, by
9
far.
OTs is the longest game, but not duration of time.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can't take pride in that either.
No.
Like, you know that.
We played the longest game of all time.
Fuck that.
Well, it was because it's just one play at the end. It just turns
Yeah.
into a 2-point conversion off, which I don't know. I don't think that's I think they should have left it the way it was.
I think Illinois, the first 4 attempts are attempts like 2 through 5. They threw for 70 yards in the day, 66 yards or something. Their first 4 attempts in overtime were passing attempts.
Hey, listen.
I mean, come on, guys.
I mean, they were trying to zig when Penn State
Yeah.
thought they were zagging.
It's incredible.
Listen, we
That's
could
genius
also
coaching right there.
we tease Squid Games. We could also do it next week and give some people time to watch it too.
I don't want to do that.
Fuck you.
Yeah, and
Fuck
we
you.
made
Said we're
him
talking
stay.
about it
Yeah,
today.
you kinda
Well, I'm
fucked
just saying-
Chief, man. Now we just fucked Chief a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, he fucked us. He
How
went
did I
like,
fuck
'cause he
you?
went like 10 hours on.
He didn't fuck
Blackhawks.
us. He committed to us.
I committed to the show.
I
You said
know.
we should talk about Squid Game. Well, all right, I haven't started yet. I've been meaning
I'm
to
just
watch
saying
it.
we got to do the rundown.
I read
We
107
do have to go do the
pages of
rundown.
that, and then we do have to do the rundown.
All right,
we
well,
got
let's
15 minutes.
Yeah, okay. fine.
15.
We got
15
I mean, we
now
don't
or
even-
25 next week.
I want it this week.
It's
I
still
want
fresh.
it this week.
It's still fresh. If we come back tomorrow.
All right, let's do 10 now.
No, Ed doesn't want to.
I'm just looking out for the show. I thought give more people time.
We have plenty
we could
of
talk
time.
longer.
Oh, more people
yeah,
like
I actually,
me?
No, I'll
You couldn't
recuse
have come to
myself
this
from
conclusion
I'm going
yesterday?
to recuse myself from this. If Chief wants to do it now,
I
want
wanna do it right now.
If Chief really wants to throw a temper tantrum and do it now,
Am
then
I
I'll do
throwing
it.
a temper
No.
tantrum?
Well, he deserves
he
to throw a
deserves
temper
to throw a
tantrum.
temper
here's,
tantrum.
I was
Here's the
just slandering.
scenario.
I
We
was
were
just
talking about it yesterday. Dave and I had finished it. Carl had 2 episodes left. Chief had not watched it at all. And
A
I'm
single
like, "All right,
second of it.
You're fucked. Many Saints in Newark all over again, Chief. You're not going to be able to watch it. He goes, fuck you. I will watch all 9 episodes.
We
tonight."
doubted
And
him,
he
too.
did it, yeah.
Shut
Yeah.
up, producer Tom just got up, left the room because he hasn't seen it yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
A little
So
subtle touch there behind the scenes.
I am exhausted, and so I got
For many reasons.
Yeah, so I started watching at like 8 o'clock last night, and watched until like maybe the first 4.5. I think I fell asleep midway through. Started watching again at 5:30 this morning. Finished up like 10:30, 11. Ready to talk about it. Let's punt to next week.
I don't want to. I want to talk about how much I absolutely fucking loved that season of TV. I loved every minute of it. I couldn't get enough. I could not put it down.
Do we want to? Why don't we tease for next week then?
Let's just do it. Let's just do it. What do we want to get into?
Can I say that
Start with-
I don't actually care. If you want to do it next week, I don't really care.
let's just get it done with now. We're coffee clutching. Stalling.
Well, because you're all laissez-faire. We got to get the footage.
You
to
don't
them
even
for the
know what
rundown.
laissez-faire is.
Yeah, he does.
That's what it is. You're all like, because you don't. You're not.
Well,
like
you've burned 5 minutes.
You're not like a timely,
trying to
prompt
say,
guy.
You're clearly not either, because we've spent 5 minutes deciding unilaterally, might I add, because I voted to talk about it. So did Chief.
I'm kind of on the edge of my seat right now to find out if we actually end up talking about this show or not. I'll be honest. This is the most. Like, I feel
All
like
right.
I'm watching Squid
all
Game
right, Dave.
now.
Dave, you're the floor.
I fucking loved it, and now I went into
Should we
it.
take a vote and then if the majority rules, then we have to talk about it? Just like in Squid Game?
I just don't want Dave to win, so I might say.
Yeah,
I know
like,
you don't.
I do like the idea of Dave losing and then carrying this grudge with you for the rest of the day.
And you know I will. You know I
Just
will.
be like those fucking cocksuckers.
Dave, you also do love a grudge, though.
could
You're happiest
not.
when you have a grudge.
I could not wait to talk about this with you guys. And I was like on the edge of my seat all day. I'm like, I wonder if he actually busted out those 9 episodes, because that's a lot
It was.
in not even 24 hours. A lot.
And the other thing, like, I woke up this morning at 5:30. I had legit, like, a pot of coffee. Like, I was tired.
Just
I
one
just
after the other.
slugging them down. Like, you know, I don't know if maybe this is just a me problem, where you drink so much coffee that you can, like, feel it in your gums.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's how I was feeling.
You're
Like,
grinding
it
your
was-
teeth a
you're
little bit.
Yeah.
See, Dave says unilateral, says all this shit. He's had the opportunity to talk about this for 5 minutes now.
10.
And instead he's talking about slugging coffee with Chief. Just make your point. What do you want to say?
I left it up to you guys. I said I fucking loved it.
Because you
I
want to have it
loved
over our head if we say no.
I loved it. I loved everything about it, and I went into it without having the slightest clue of what I was getting into.
Well,
and
I mean-
spoiler alert, when that first guy got shot when they were playing red light, green light, I was like,
Start.
because the first 30 minutes are like kind of, I was like, all right,
All right,
like, keep going.
It doesn't seem like we even know how we're going to do this either, because
Just talk
it's
about
just
it.
Dave
have a
saying
little-
like
I
how
have-
much he
listen,
liked it.
I have
What-
a breakdown. I prepped today in anticipation if this came up, because I know things get off the rail, and I thought, you know what? Why don't I put myself in a position if I could
Good.
shepherd this conversation along or whatever? And I have it broken down into three areas.
Can I make a suggestion?
I mean,
Why don't we just do this on the rundown? We'll do the after show about Squid Game.
No, I don't want. I want to. I want to take away every opportunity I can from White Sox Day to talk about stuff.
And Ed, we talked about this like
I think
off
that
air
was a good
yesterday.
compromise.
We
Which
talked
is-
about this off air yesterday, and we were in like lockstep agreement for
I
the
know.
first time on anything ever.
Carl
And that's
presented a way, and it's really Chief's fault at this point. He's
Why
fucking-
the fuck is it my fault?
I have a suggestion.
No,
while
it's
you're
not.
about
It's
to-
all Ed's fault.
this
It is all Ed's fault.
How
it's
is
all-
it my fault?
Listen, there's three. I see this conversation is taking place in 3 prongs or 3 kind of pillars here. The first is it's low, and the conversation progressively should get deeper and as you go. The first is good, like off the top, good. What do I like about Squid Games? What made me jump back? What do I enjoy about it? Then obviously the bad stuff, which is where you're going to get a little bit more critical. And then the last thing which we should talk about are like the deep themes of Squid Games. Why is it so addictive? Why is it something that people want to talk about left and right? How has it captivated countless different types of fucking... Everybody of all shapes and sizes is like addicted to the show, which I think says a lot more about the subconscious part of humanity than it does about any
that's
of the
a little
fucking,
too
ooh,
deep
I
for
like
me,
this
dog.
scene, I like that. I mean, the fact that Squid Games is popular as it is says so much about how fucked up people are.
What do you think was the scariest game?
Oh, the fucking... well,
it's easy to me. It's an
the
easy
fifth
answer
one.
to me.
The fifth one, but...
What's the fifth one?
The fifth one is where 80% of the fucking... It had the lowest success rate.
Oh, we said spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bridge. The bridge had the lowest success
With
rate.
the glass?
Yeah, that was insane.
That was fucking nuts.
When he was doing the fucking math in his head, he's like, I got 1 in 36,000 percent chance to, or whatever, to do this. 1 in 36,000 chance to do this.
Yeah.
Which might as well be hitting a lot.
2 to the 5th. Yeah, when he's like 2 to 15.
Yeah. Whatever number he said, it was astronomical, but like it was like, this is all it boils down to for me. I thought so. Like I said, I went into it without having zero clue what it was about, and obviously it's like kind of.
I don't think
similar to
anybody knew what it would be about.
Well,
just to
I
give
was
you
a
some
few days
comfort.
late.
You weren't
I
alone.
didn't read anything into it. I didn't hear about any of the games. I didn't know it was you could watch it 2 different ways. I watched it with like the American voices.
Oh, that's what that was. Yeah. So you.
so
did
I didn't
anybody
have
go Korean?
subtitles.
I did English with English subtitles, and that was quite the experience too. I don't know if anybody else did that, but there is like the whole show. You have the subtitles, and then you hear them talking, and they don't
Match
line
up.
up
Yeah.
once. They
That
don't
would
line
drive me
up
nuts.
once.
But
Yeah,
I got
it's
used to it without the subtitles, but it was kind of cheesy. I didn't think the acting was like any particularly great. But in the end, all it boils down to for this show is this: I was wildly entertained. That's it. I know that's easy. That's the easy way out. But I could not put that TV show down. I was up till 3 a.m. 2 nights in a row watching it.
Yeah, like Many Saints in Newark. It was entertaining. You enjoyed it.
I didn't enjoy it. I thought that stunk.
No, I'm
I
kidding.
thought
I'm
this
kidding.
was
Absolutely. What did it say it again?
Hold on, let me pull it up.
Absolutely hated
And
it.
they
0
did-
stars.
Absolutely fucking horrible. 0 stars, and I'm pissed.
0 stars, and I'm
it
pissed.
sucked. I'm
Um,
not the only one to think that either. It
0
sucked.
stars.
Listen, it was awesome. It was one of the most enjoyable viewing experiences I've had in a long time.
Yes.
I
Yes.
watched it so fast, like I think 3 days, which is fast for me.
That's
I know a
fast.
lot of people but people are. You might be in the majority. Some people you sit there and do like 6, and I'm like, how do you do that?
I did it in 2 nights. I got through half of it one night, half of it the next.
3 nights.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like so that's it was. I was on the edge of my seat.
The
I
entire
couldn't wait
time.
for more.
I think if I wasn't under a deadline from Red Ed over here, I think I would have done it in 2 nights.
Yeah, it was crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
It
So what
was-
did you think of it?
I thought it was great. I thought it was great. I thought it was great TV.
Yes.
I thought it was
Yes.
like a look into like the human psyche. To answer your question about what do you think the scariest game was, I think it has to be red light, green light, because at that
Because you
point
can't move.
you can't
you're-
move. But you like that was like you don't know
Right.
what like the first person gets shot and they're like, oh, it's a joke. Like get up, man. Enough time's gone by. Like just start, and then it's like, oh, actually he's fucking dead. And so at that point, you got to be like, where the fuck am I? You're seeing like the creepy people for the first time. This giant robot doll with the head turned around, sniping people. It like that to me, like just the awe. Like after that, when you go back, it's a like life or death thing. So like the shock of it, I think would make the first game. The
I get your
scariest to me.
point, but I still say that glass one was just like, whoa.
Well, do you have a fear of heights?
Not really, but the crash of the glass and to see the people just plummet down and scream, like was almost like I witnessed that in real life. It was that like graphic and like emotion. It was weird. It was so.
I think of the ones where you plummet to your death, I thought the tug of war was scarier. Like if you were on that rope and there's just like you're chained to it and there's just nothing you can do, and like you have time to think that you're going over, where you step on the glass and you're just down. It's 2 seconds later you're dead. The part where you're struggling and fighting and you're inching towards that edge, and like holy fuck, here it comes, like that to me, I would have more of a panic attack than going across the glass.
I mean, it's a subjective argument,
Yeah.
but at the same time, the glass was, and then the factor, all the people who are behind you, so it's like, like, do I fuck them over? Dave, if you did wake up face down in a empty pool, would you have joined Squid Game? Would you have done this in a different life?
Fuck no.
All 3 of you guys, would you
I
have
don't-
participated if you guys were down on your luck?
I have this joke, you guys don't know, but about Call of Duty, where I would like to just make $1 billion Call of Duty Verdansk and do it with paintball guns. I would like to do this with paintball guns, or like into a ball pit or foam pit or something. I think it'd be fun. But like to actually put myself in a position of. No,
yeah, but I think
I
you're
don't think
discounting how down
any-
these people were.
I
bad.
know, I understand that.
Like, think about being down that bad. I can't say that I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, and it's also like it's a different culture too. So like when we were doing the dog walk about the Samsung family, that kept popping into my mind about how much the disparity is between the haves and the have-nots, and it's really like impossible in other countries to get out from underneath like that weight of the debt more so than it is here. I would say is based upon the research that we did for those Samsung dog walks, where it's like, man, like maybe if it was in like that specific scenario, I feel like I'm a pretty optimistic, hopeful person. And I just like I'll figure it out. I think, but that maybe over there, like you feel more trapped. I don't know. It's just like from like reading about the Samsung family and all like the laws in South Korea made it seem like
You looked at me like I was crazy when I said that.
I mean, I don't think there's anything I could get to where I would.
Dave, if
and
you're like that
especially going
Sang-woo
back-
guy and you're fucking facing
I don't
going
know.
to prison or possibly winning all that money to save yourself, I mean, you're in a rock and a hard place.
You say all that money, 45.6 billion won converts to about $40 million.
Yeah.
So there were points where like, if it's only for a couple million, like that's
right. I was doing like I was googling that.
that's what
the
I
entire like at least once an episode. Like,
Yeah.
all right. So if it's 100 million won, like how much is it? Like
I
was doing
think
that
every one of them
all the time.
yeah.
in America,
Yeah.
or not in Korea, even was doing that.
Yeah, I would agree.
But yeah, think of how fun that'd be if like they put us in this fucking with this creepy ass giant doll playing red light, green light, and there's just people zoomed in with like.
Do you
Well,
think
it-
you'd do it, Carl?
No.
well, at that
with
point,
paint-
it's just
with
like
paintball
global
gun.
guts. Yeah, you know, like it's yeah.
But something that could like maybe put you in a hospital for a week.
Yeah, like I'm not.
Not just getting like a little welt from a paintball. I've been shot with paintballs before. It hurts, but you're fine.
it's not. It's unpleasant.
It's not fun yet. I actually love paintball.
I
It's
couldn't.
fun.
I couldn't
but-
sleep on those beds. I wouldn't be able to sleep in that room.
How do any of them sleep?
That's tough.
Especially once that fucking the big crazy dude.
With the snake on his face?
Yeah, with the snake on his face that looks like a dick.
Yeah, that fucking guy.
Would you have
dude.
smoked any of those cigs that came out of that woman's coochie?
God, probably not. Maybe.
Would you?
Yeah,
have,
I
would you have partook in some coochie from that woman?
Yeah. I would. Would you have?
1,000%.
Yeah, you have to.
Have to.
Yeah, if you're in the.
Desperate times.
I mean, she comes up, you say, "I'm different." She tells the one guy, she's like, "I'll do anything you want. I'm a different lady. You can have your way." I didn't. Okay, couple just quick things. I hated the VIPs. I just hate. You guys may have not noticed this discrepancy, but I was listening to the Korean audio and watching English subtitles because you get their actual.
I wish I
reactions
did
and
it that
shit,
way.
Which is, it's not the easiest thing, but they then in that case then there are parts where they do speak in English.
Yeah.
The front man speaks in English.
Huh.
And so when the VIP
He's
showed
a white
up,
dude.
the dialogue was so good for I thought when it was like in the Korean, you're reading the subtitles, like it was so back and forth and all this stuff. The VIPs were just trash to me. That was so like cliche and like, oh, I'm gonna take this one for a blowjob now. I was like, come on, guys, give me a cooler VIP than just like exactly the standard, exactly what I would have expected.
Has everybody here seen Taken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like they were trying to recreate like that auction vibe
Kind of. Yeah.
down there,
yeah.
but they just did it like, yeah, I would agree with you it was like, yeah.
It was too old. It was.
Yeah.
They could have been. I know everything was over the top. I thought it would have been cool if they made the VIPs like a little more, like if there was like an old lady, like a young, like if there was just like a more mix as opposed to just like, oh, here's a bunch of 50 and 60-year-old Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the old man being the bad guy. That's a huge fucking spoiler.
Yeah.
I just didn't, at the end, I was just like, come on, man. Like he went from being like one of the best characters in the series, one of my, like just an all-time favorite character, to being like, all right, that's a little. They're
Yeah.
trying. They want us to walk away and be like, ooh.
What was your take on that?
Yeah, old man was, neither positive nor negative. It was just like, oh, okay. It didn't like knock me off my chair.
No.
It was just like, oh, okay. But then again, it makes sense, like, because you never really, all you found out that he was sick, and I was like, huh.
Yeah.
Like, you never really found out his financial situation.
Yeah.
So for him to be like, hey, I just want to play the game. Like, he loved the action.
Yeah.
There's something to that.
I think that was the overall theme of the whole show.
And for him to know that he wasn't going to die, like,
Yeah.
Favorite game was the Marvel game. I thought that was the best episode by far.
You thought so?
I thought the shit that happened during the Marvel game was just like fucking.
I thought the
incredible.
glass was the best one by far.
I thought the marble game was the most emotional.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like that sucked me in so hard.
Me
where-
too.
Was sad seeing my guy Iley died.
Yep.
Like
Oh yeah.
I like that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Honest, hardworking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that season 2. The guy was talking about how it might go into more about the what's his name, the headmaster,
Front
The
man.
front man.
the front man.
Yeah, that was kind of confusing with the police.
Yes,
Well, that was his brother.
Yeah, his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes, they're thinking about exploring that angle, and then the other angle.
I think that they should just. They're not going to because they'll make a fucking gazillion
it's the
dollars off
most
it.
viewed
He didn't
show
make any,
ever.
and he didn't make that much money off of it. I saw like his contract with Netflix was like a bare bones contract.
They
and,
gotta
like,
give that guy a piece of the pie.
No, he doesn't have any. It's made like $650 million for Netflix, and he's like, yeah, I have no rights to any of the.
How do they calculate that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm sure. they've
It's the
got
most
data.
watched show ever on Netflix,
Wow, that's insane.
In the
like
end,
in any country.
Well, it's probably because
I
it combines all the countries.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
loved it. I could not put it down. I haven't been so entertained watching a movie or a TV show, maybe ever.
Can I say
Like
something?
start to finish. What's?
I wanted 456 to die.
Oh yeah. I started developing like
a nice guy.
allegiances with different.
I think it
He
would
was
have been.
so fucking high strung in the beginning of the series that I was like, get this guy dead. I
You know-
want
What
him
do
to
you
die a
hate about
torturous death.
him?
I
Why
don't
would you
hate.
want him to
I don't
die?
hate anything about him, except for the part he did try to fuck over the old man in the marble game. He
Yeah.
take advantage of that.
He
Was like,
did.
Yeah, but he also brought him on the team for tug of war. He looked out for the old man more than anything.
Mano a mano, he tried to take advantage of his mental state. But my point being, I think part of the reason why Game of Thrones was so like, I can't believe what's going on in the show, is they kept killing off the main characters, and I was waiting for them to like pull that card with 456, and it just like it was almost like too predictable that he was the guy to win at the end. So
Yeah, you knew that was gonna happen.
Right, but that was
Yeah.
the thing with Game of Thrones that I would love. It was like you thought
There
that,
was- yeah.
that was you always were surprised by the deaths.
Yeah. The other thing they said the sequel or the second season would be about is which I actually like a lot, is the guy at the train station who plays the fucking game.
Yeah, that guy.
I like
The
that.
recruiter?
Paper game.
Yeah, the recruiter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It makes me uncomfortable because the reason I loved Mighty Ducks as a kid was like, man, look, what if my dad bought me hockey skates and I was awesome and I was on Team USA with these guys? The reason I liked Rookie of the Year so much as a kid was it was like what you insert yourself into these situations. It's a reason why video games are very popular. If you think about the stuff you like really, really love, more often than not, it's you relating and inserting yourself into the situation, so to say. And I was disturbed with how much I was inserting myself into the Squid Game. And it's disturbing that that's like the connectivity. People love it. What makes it addictive to me is the fact that you are constantly thinking like, I'm on Team 7. What team how would I go about to pick? What number vest would I pick when we didn't know what game it was being played? Or would I stab someone? Would I go and kill the girl with the knife?
Yeah.
Would I have killed that guy? Would I have played it cool? The whole, from the start to finish, once they introduced the concept of personal choice, the viewer is like inundated in making choices throughout watching that. You're constantly making decisions watching this.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, man.
It is. You're right.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. That
That's the much deeper side.
Yeah, that's
hit the
why
nail
you
on the
get
head,
sucked
Carl.
in because it's like, what would I do?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
fucking.
Yeah.
But what Dave do?
I'd win the whole thing. That's for sure. I mean, I'm mentally and physically more fit than anybody in this room, at least, and anybody listening for sure.
Last thing, did you guys have a best part, your favorite moment, not episode, not game, like your favorite, like yes.
One other thing for real quick, season 2, I need to know how the soldiers get involved. Like how, like they're they're just like, who are these pink guys with the weird masks, and they all just participate in this? Like they must be like slaves or opt out of the game.
Are they
like,
past winners maybe? And then only that guy who won is the
but it seems like there's too many of them. You know?
yeah.
So I don't know. That was one thing but in terms of my favorite part of the show.
Not gonna say favorite, but another oh fuck part was when he got up to get the guards because she was bleeding so bad, and he turned around and fucking saw who killed her.
Well, I kept thinking he was going to get stabbed in the spine, stabbed in the back.
When he was knocking on the door.
Yeah. And
Yes,
then
and then you turn around like that was a good zig.
Yep.
They did a great job with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old man strategizing about tug of war is one of my favorite fucking things in like recent memory that I've watched in a television series.
That was very good.
That was good. Mm-hmm.
So, go watch Squid Game. We'll have a review part 2 up next.
Are you satisfied with that review? That was
Yeah,
good.
I think that was good Squid Game
Thank
talk.
you.
What is it, Ed? Could you read it to us one more time?
1 second, please. Absolutely fucking horrible. 0 stars, and I'm pissed.
It was awful.
All gas.
No breaks.
And DJ, play that shit.